Cadence record. Cadence record. real chopped beef, man. You said, man, that's naturally juicy, man. Ain't nothing dry over here, man. That mac and cheese is fresh. Man, there ain't no mac and cheese out no damn box. We don't do no boxes, man. Everything is fresh because we the best, man. Fresh and things, fresh we doing things, man.
Here spicing up seafood and grill. When I say they got some of the best fish in Dallas, y'all gotta come over there and check them out, man. Listen, when I say I ate some of this fish and I had to come back, I come back and hey, they hooked it up. Tell them what we got over here.
Woo, man, we got something rock and rolling for you. Come on, Ollie, come get this fish. Great fish. We got some good, great salmon. We got some great stuff for you, so come on down.
What we got? What we got? Tell them.
We got the daiquiri,
Okay.
the Kool-Aid, we got the cake natties, the desserts,
Hey.
salads.
Hey, everything here is made fresh to order. What did I say up there? Made fresh to order. Let's go.
Hey, Glocks and 4-5, sister young and I swear we was outside. Nigga trippin', I swear he get hot time. Really been running it up while them boys on the sideline. Really got paper, I'm not lying, all of my bitches is booze. Can't fuck with the whole kind, think I'm a lick, then the whole done. Hit up Osama to give.
On my mama, he not lying. Been chasing dreams like me. Is you willing to die for the 600 piece? Next shot, now you can't even speak. Nigga, fuck living rich, you can die for the cheap. We them niggas round here, Memphis bleak. We the ones really running this town, Jay-Z. You a bitch, female dog and heat. Ice Cube, who been throwing big threes.
Damn, I done did it again. Spinning the blocks with them blocks in their feet. Just told me to chill, but I had to give in. Said I'm turned off for rap, but I'm turning down the hill. Keep it sealed, you know some of these niggas will squeal. I'm as real as they come, it's the way that I live. Don't get killed trying to take something that I would give.
Why you still on the block?
It's the way that I live.
You ain't never been shot.
They don't know how to kill. Plus I'm quick and I always stay loaded with steel. Make a big nigga do a backflip like Jaleel. These niggas pussy, I know how they feel. They the type that'll drop their little gun on the drill. In the water was short, I got pads in their feet. Touch the mill and I'm still going up like a hill.
Yeah, no, I'm strapped like a dyke. I got left in Miami trying to get the Glock 2340 bullets on the flight. 14K on my teeth when I smile. The sun get jealous and hate the sunlight. All of this dope in the kitchen, tag on my shoes. I've been living out white. Came a long way from that palace. Like what? Told revolvers and varsity jacks. Nigga, play with your life, I'ma snatch it. Right, so many guns, I claim them on my tag. Hit you like a frog if you leak. Only strong survivor, we pray on the weak. Ever hit up or play while they sleep. Get your ass took out for the microwave beat, bitch.
Microphone check 212. Microphone check 212. Yes, sir. Man, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Spending your time with me, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, it seems like I just repeatedly just went live the other day. I did, actually. Man, Tuesday came around again. Very quick, man. The weeks are going by like days. You know, days are going by like hours. And hours going by like minutes. Minutes going by like seconds. And you know the rest. But man, shout out to everybody, man, that's tuning out tonight. Hey man, you are welcome to leave comments in the comment box, ladies and gentlemen. You know, you got something you want to say, or something you think I said was messed up, or you got to come in on I didn't say it right, or I said it right, or say something. Let me know somebody is out there, man, because I go back to the live, I tune in, I'll be like, dang, man, it's like I get all the viewers once I get off the live. And I understand people at 10 o'clock late got to get up and go to work. You know what I'm saying? I understand that. But for the late night, you know what I'm saying? Late night creep, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Man, tune in, man. You know, say have some comments, share the live or something, man. I shouldn't even have to say share, you know what I'm saying? Because I know it's repetitive and people say it a lot. Hey man, share the live, hit a comment, hit a like or something. But evidently I must have to say this for people to respond to something. You can hit a thumbs down, something. You know what I'm saying? I bet it was some titties shaking and some ass papping and you know what I'm saying? And somebody getting beat up and shot, views going up, and niggas looking in, niggas peeping in. Is that really going on? Nigga get to arguing on here, the views go up. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, hey man, I understand people rather be entertained on bull jive than the real spill. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I try not to waste my energy on ignorance, man. I swear, it's like everywhere I turn around is somebody with some ignorance, man. I know it's the spirit that you feed yourself. I am not perfect. I know I am not. But hey, man, sometimes I just need peace, man. I want peace, a peace of mind, man, away from negative energy, negative thoughts, whatever you think, man. If you're not on the team, man, you gotta be against the team. That's all I'm looking at it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a leader, not a follower. I only follow my Heavenly Father. That's it. You know what I'm saying? But shoot, follow me as I follow my Heavenly Father. But let's get into it, man. I don't feel like being, teachy preachy on you. You know what I'm saying? But y'all understand what we coming through is talking about the forward position, the 4 and the 3. You know what I'm saying? We talked about the old 5 last week. So we talking about the 4 and the 3. The 4 position is the power forward. The 3 is the small forward. A lot of people get those positions kind of mixed up sometimes because the players play almost similarity roles, but each position has its own distinctive role. You know what I'm saying? In this game, you got to have a hell of a good 3. You know what I'm saying? In this day of time, a versatile 3. You know what I'm saying? But let's jump into it real quick, man, and let me show y'all some of the power forwards of the game. We're gonna start with the 4 position. That is the power forward position.
Well, Young Mustard is back with another video, and as you can see from the title, I'm continuing my series of ranking the top 10 players at each and every position. But without further ado, drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter. All of the links for my social media are down below in the description box. Let's just kick things off with number 10. To start us off, we have Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol is easily one of the more skilled bigs in NBA history. With the ability to finish with both hands, score in the post, in the mid-range game, he was a solid passer and playmaker out of the post, and also even later on in his career, he was able to somewhat extend it by adding a decent 3-point shot. And I don't think enough is said for his ability to extend his career, not just with his 3-point shooting, but taking his level of play even to Chicago. I remember when Pau Gasol came to the Bulls, that was somewhat of a big signing for us because for one, we don't really get big time free agents, and Pau Gasol was somewhat of a big time free agent, and he had some solid years, even making an All-NBA team during his time with the Bulls. And when you couple his talent with the fact that he has multiple All-Star teams and All-NBA selections, as well as 2 NBA championships back-to-back, I would add with the Los Angeles Lakers, being the second best player on that championship team, and actually showing up in a lot of key games, and some of those games that Kobe shot inefficiently, and being the backbone of those Laker teams, I gotta say Pau Gasol worthy of being number 10 on this list. But moving on to number 9, we have the Big Blue himself, Bob Pettit. Now, like I say when I talk about players from the 60s and 70s, these were fairly weaker eras in NBA history, especially the 70s, but as it pertains to Bob Pettit, he played in the mid-50s to the early 60s, and though I did not watch Bob Pettit, I was not alive, obviously, but from the moment he stepped into the NBA to the moment that he retired, he played at an elite level, led the league in scoring on multiple occasions, including one of the years being in his sophomore season, coupled that with another 2 MVPs, and I believe the most impressive feat of his entire career, leading his team to an NBA championship over Bill Russell's Celtics and actually outplaying Bill Russell in the NBA Finals. Sure, the NBA had less teams than it has today and the comp level is not as good as it is today. When you have a resume that he has and you beat the Bill Russell Celtics and outplay Bill Russell, I'm sorry, you're worthy of being in any top 10 list at your position. But moving on to player number 8, we have Kevin McHale of the Boston Celtics. Now, Kevin McHale, I'm not going to act like I'm some Kevin McHale enthusiast, but he's definitely one of the better players on this list, as earlier on in his career, many people said he was a starter masquerading on the bench, as he won 2 Sixth Man of the Year awards, and as later on when he became a full-time starter, he made multiple All-Star teams and All-NBAs, and along with being a great offensive player, he was also an elite defensive player, as he made 6 All-Defensive teams. So right off the bat, we've established that Kevin McHale was an elite two-way player, an elite player off the bench even, as he made an All-Star team and won back-to-back Sixth Man of the Year awards, and then you couple that with 3 championships with the 80s Celtics dynasty, there really is no debate why he's considered one of the greatest bigs in NBA history. And by the way, another thing that is slept on in Kevin McHale's career is how clutch he was in the postseason. He had some really good playoff runs that I believe went under the radar, such as the 86 year where they won the championship for the final time in that dynasty. He averaged 25 points, 9 rebounds, as well as 3 assists and 2 blocks, shooting 58% from the field, and he did that throughout the entire postseason run. He may not have been Larry Bird on those Celtics teams, but he was definitely without a doubt the second best player in a lot of those playoff runs, and without him, they never would have been as successful as they were. But moving on to player number 7, this one may get a little controversial depending on how you view him, but I have Anthony Davis. Now, Anthony Davis is definitely a very interesting player on this list. For starters, he's not even 30 yet, and the fact that I have him 7th on this list, I'm sure is going to annoy a lot of people because of quote-unquote longevity, but let me just kill that argument real quick. For starters, Anthony Davis' peak is one of the greatest peaks of all time. Like honestly, when you look at what he was able to do on the court, his actual ability when he was at his peak, which he still is at his peak in my personal opinion, but the things that he was able to do, only a couple of players on this list, and they're the ones above him, have been able to do so. Don't give me no Kevin McHale is greater than Anthony Davis when he was never as good as Anthony Davis was. Then you couple that in with the fact that he's one of the greatest defensive players of all time, despite not having a defensive player of the year. Only a couple of guys on this list I can say that about. And even though he doesn't have an MVP, he doesn't have a defensive player of the year, he still has multiple All-Star appearances in All-NBA teams, multiple all-defense teams, has led the league in blocks on 3 separate occasions, finished top 3 in MVP voting on multiple occasions as well, and has some of the greatest playoff runs of all time, which includes a playoff run to the NBA championship in 2020 where they actually won the title, as he averaged 28 points, 10 rebounds, as well as a block and a half and a steal on 57% from the field, 38% from 3, and 83% at the free throw line. So I don't want to hear anything about quote-unquote longevity when we know Anthony Davis is going to still play at an elite level for a couple of more seasons, and even if his career were to end right now, he has a resume that more than justifies his spot on this list. But moving on to player number 6, we have the round mound of rebound, Charles Barkley. Now, Charles Barkley is easily, and I mean easily, one of the most underrated players of all time. And I know it's funny to clown Charles Barkley for some of his takes on TV and his just god-awful predictions, Shaq always clowning him for having no rings. I get it, it's funny to do all of that, but I think a lot of people tend to forget that Charles Barkley was a really good player. I'm talking about a guy in his prime that could give you 25, 12, and 5 in his sleep routinely on seasons unheard of. I'm talking about a guy that in the NBA Finals went back and forth with Michael Jordan, as he had one of the all-time great finals series, averaging 27 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, the steal, shooting 48% from the field. It took Michael Jordan averaging 41 points a game in the NBA Finals to put Charles Barkley away, and had Jordan not done that, Charles Barkley would have a ring, and we'd be talking about him as being one of the top 15 to 20 players in NBA history. And aside from just the numbers, if you just watch the film, Charles Barkley was doing things that you did not see bigs at that time do. For starters, he was undersized and one of the greatest rebounders of all time. He was a very underrated passer in the half court, especially out of the post. And even when it just comes to his transition game, the guy was pushing the ball going coast to coast on some plays. It is insane just how athletic Charles Barkley was in his earlier years in Philly and some of the years in Phoenix. The guy was truly a basketball phenom, and had he put in more effort on the defensive end or just had not run into Michael Jordan in the NBA Finals, we will be looking at his career in a whole different light. But moving on to our next player, we are finally in the top 5, and unfortunately, I have Karl Malone. Now, some of you guys might be wondering why I said unfortunately. Honestly, I just don't like Karl Malone. Like, I'm just going to be honest with you. The guy likes little kids, so great player, 2-time MVP. Let's move on to number 4. But coming in to start off our top 4, we have Kevin Garnett, the big ticket himself. Now, depending on how you look at KG, this may be a bit of a controversial spot, but I have to say the 2 through 4 spots were easily the hardest spots for me to rank on this list because, man, it is very close. Like, honestly, I could wake up tomorrow and my mind could be changed and you could flip these guys. Honestly, it's debatable between the 2 through 4 spot. But nonetheless, KG, easily one of the greatest players of all time. On the defensive end, one could argue he is the greatest defensive player of all time. His ability to switch on the perimeter and defend the paint, only about a handful of players in NBA history rival him in that aspect. And because of how great he was on the defensive side of the ball, not only does he have a bunch of all defensive teams which carried over to his time in Boston, but he is also one of the only 2 players on this list that has won a Defensive Player of the Year award. And when you couple that with the fact that he was also an elite offensive player, not just looking at the numbers, but when you watch the tape, the guy was able to contribute in any way possible offensively outside of shooting the 3 ball. He could post up, he could shoot the mid-range, and also he was a really good passer and playmaker as his handles helped his ability to create off the dribble and create for others on his team as well. KG was so far ahead of his time, and his efforts helped create unicorns in guys like Kevin Durant, Giannis, Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, the modern day big that can do it all. Kevin Garnett was one of those guys. And as far as peak goes, Kevin Garnett is easily, and I mean easily, a top 10 peak of all time. Like, for real, if you look at what he did in that 2004 season, it's insane just how good he was. And because of his intensity, he is known as one of the greatest leaders of all time, as his leadership and efforts on the defensive side of the ball helped the Boston Celtics win a championship in 2008. Now, as far as why I don't have him higher on this list, for starters, Kevin Garnett in his prime was missing the playoffs or losing in the first round for a good portion of his career. And it's not just the fact that he was losing in the first round, it's the fact that he was running into a lot of other players that were just straight up outplaying him. Honestly, for example, look at the 2000s against the Dallas Mavericks. Kevin Garnett averaged 24 points, 19 rebounds and 5 assists, right? Solid numbers, but shot just below 43% from the field and 72% at the free throw line. And it's not like he didn't have help, because Chauncey Billups and Wally Szczerbiak averaged 20 points on decent to great efficiency in their own rights. Meanwhile, the guy that Kevin Garnett was guarding on the opposing team, Dirk Nowitzki, averaged 33 points, 16 rebounds, 3 steals, shot 53% from the field, 73% from 3, and nearly 89% at the free throw line. It really is insane just how much Dirk outplayed him, and keep in mind the Timberwolves got swept in that series. And you can go through multiple series in Kevin Garnett's career where he was just straight up outplayed by opposing players at his own position. And when you couple that with the fact that he missed the playoffs for 3 straight years in the middle of his prime, I'm sorry, I cannot give him an excuse for that, especially when there's a consensus that his peak is one of the greatest peaks of all time. If you're that good, you should be able to at least lead your team to the playoffs, especially if you have 3 chances in a row to do so. But nonetheless, I'm not trying to shit on KG too much, because in my personal opinion, he's still an all-time great player, and you could easily argue that he's the 2nd greatest power forward on this list. Like I said, 2 through 4 is definitely interchangeable, but that's just my reason why I have him at number 4 and not anywhere higher. But moving on to player number 3, I have Dirk Nowitzki of the Dallas Mavericks, and I gotta say, I believe Dirk is one of the most underrated players of all time. Like, I've even made a video about it in the past, the card should be on the screen right about now, but I don't believe enough is said about how impressive Dirk Nowitzki's career is. For starters, I think a lot of people are used to older Dirk, where he relied on his skill and his post moves, his 3-point shot, and they just either weren't alive or just don't care to look up up film on how good Dirk was in his younger years. It's not to say that his older years weren't good, but when he was younger, he was far more athletic than people gave him credit for, even able to put the ball on the floor and use his athleticism to blow by some slower defenders in the front court. And secondly, when you look at his impact on the game, it just goes without question, as I believe that Dirk and Kevin Garnett are the two most influential bigs in NBA history, especially on the modern game. I talked about KG earlier with his defensive switch ability, but when you look at a guy like Dirk on the other hand, it's really the opposite, because on the offensive side of the ball, there was really nothing that Dirk could not do. He could take it to the basket and use his size to abuse smaller defenders. He could operate in the post with a plethora of moves at his disposal, and even when he got to the free throw line, he was usually cash money, as there are multiple seasons that he has hovering around or even over 90% at the charity strike. But the most impressive and influential part of his game has to be his ability to shoot from behind the arc, as he's won a three-point contest and the numbers back it up, the film backs it up. No matter how you look at it, Dirk really changed the game with his three-point shooting. And when you look at his accomplishments, he has an MVP to his name, multiple All-Star appearances in All-NBA teams, but the 2011 championship is easily, in my opinion, the greatest ring of all time. Not only did he stay in Dallas and be committed to them, taking all those pay cuts for all those years in order to win with the team that drafted him, which really just adds to the story of that ring, but the road to the championship. I gotta say, over the years, LeBron fans have tried to shit on that ring by taking credit away from Dirk and saying that team was way better than it actually was. But look, I'm gonna be the first one to tell you guys, people will always be ready to take away credit from the guys who beat LeBron, and Dirk is a part of those guys, because in 2011, you had to have just been there. Nobody even thought the Mavericks were going to get out of the second round, much less win the NBA championship. That team was not a great team from top to bottom. It was Dirk and a bunch of other role players. And as good as those role players played in key moments, whether it was with defense, three-point shooting, they are role players. They need a superstar to lead them, and Dirk without question was that guy. Whether it was stepping up with key shots in the fourth quarter or being the consistent offensive option when nobody else was able to do so, Dirk consistently got the job done in each and every single round, including the NBA Finals. They beat the Portland Trail Blazers, they were favored, fine. They beat the Los Angeles Lakers though, who were coming off of back-to-back NBA championships and 3 straight finals appearances. Not only did they beat them, but they swept them. And in the conference finals, going up against the Oklahoma City Thunder, who had Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook as well as James Harden, they beat them as well in 5 games. And then going to the NBA Finals, a series that they were not favored in any way, shape, or form. Going up against the Big Three Miami Heat in their primes, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. It was Dirk, Tyson Chandler, Jason Kidd, JJ Barea, Sean Marion. Yeah, does that sound like a great cast? No, it is Dirk and a bunch of other role players. And yes, I understand Jason Terry had a great finals, but it was a great finals for his standards. The guy didn't even average 20 points throughout that entire playoff run. And say what you want about those NBA finals and how good Jason Terry was, it was Dirk that was sealing the deal fourth quarter after fourth quarter after fourth quarter. And that is why he won the finals MVP and had one of the greatest, and I believe the greatest, playoff run in NBA history. And because he didn't need a super team to win his first championship, and only championship I should add, that's why I have him over Kevin Garnett as number 3 on this list. But moving on to number 2, this is where it's going to get a little bit controversial. I have Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, before people come at me with their longevity pitchforks, let me tell you guys one thing. Giannis is 26 years old and has accomplished more than all the guys below him. He has a Defensive Player of the Year, he has All-Stars and All-NBAs, and sure, he doesn't have as many as some of the guys below him, but similar to Anthony Davis, Giannis has played at a level that a lot of the guys, if not all of the guys below him, have not been able to play at. As on the defensive side of the ball, one could argue he is the best defender of his generation. The DPOY and all defensive teams are a validation of that, and even if you just watch these last playoffs, especially these NBA Finals, he further cemented that fact. And considering that he just had one of the all-time great playoff runs that I believe only Dirk can compare to, combined with an all-time great finals series, 2 all-time great moments like the block on DeAndre Ayton and the lob from Drew Holiday, and then he capped it off with a picture-perfect closeout game of 50 points, 14 rebounds, 5 blocks on 64% from the field, and even at the free throw line was the embodiment of clutch, as the knock on Giannis has to be his free throws, and at the free throw line he made 17 of his 19 attempts, shooting nearly 90% at the free throw line. And considering that he did all of this before even turning 27 years old, he could retire right now, and he is greater than all the guys below him in my personal opinion. I don't care about longevity, you can shove that down your throat all you want, but in my personal opinion, I don't see how Giannis is not the second greatest power forward of all time with a resume like that, and it only makes it that much more impressive that he really did all of this in a 5 to 6 year window. It's insane, honestly. But let's move on to our final player coming in at number 1, and was there any question, it is the big fundamental himself, Timmy D. Duncan. Now, I don't think this deserves that much of an explanation, but let me just give you guys the quick rundown. There was nothing Tim Duncan couldn't do on the basketball court outside of shooting threes. On the defensive end, he's one of the greatest defenders ever and actually has a case to be the greatest defensive player of all time. And the longevity at the defensive end, it's insane. Literally from the moment he walked in the league, essentially to the moment he retired, he was an elite defender, even making a first team all defensive team in 2014. The guy was literally playing elite defense from the moment that Michael Jordan won his last championship to the moment that LeBron faced him in the NBA Finals in 2014. It is insane the longevity that Tim Duncan has, and you don't see stuff like that every day, obviously. And even on the offensive end, I don't think Duncan gets enough credit for how skilled he was. There was not a single post move he could not do. He was a great passer and playmaker out of the post, and even when you look at a lot of those playoff runs, he was carrying the Spurs a lot more than people think, as when they won the first championship, David Robinson was coming off of a career-altering injury and was never the same, and in the second championship, Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, they were rookie and sophomore players that did not perform all that well throughout that entire postseason, but yet they still won the championship in 2003. And when you combine that with the resume that he has of 5 NBA championships, 3 finals MVPs, a back-to-back MVP winner, there really is no debate on him not only being number 1 on this list, but a top 10 player in NBA history. But that concludes this video. This was a very long video. I'm sorry, you guys, but I had to get into my bag. If you enjoyed it, make sure you drop a like to show some support to me as a content creator to help me out with that algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you're new and press the bell for post notifications. Follow me on social media. The links are down below in the description box. This is your boy Young Mustard signing out. Y'all stay safe and have a blessed day. Peace.
Yeah, microphone check. Yeah, man, appreciate Mustard, man, breaking it down for the top power forwards in the game. That Dirk situation, man, that was real, man. Yeah, Dirk, man, hey, he did have to go through some things just to get to that, get that ring, you know what I'm saying? But the power forward position, man, KG was one of my favorite power forwards, you know, when he was in the game, you know. But like I say, man, the power forward position is very much needed. There's not many power forwards besides Giannis right now. It's kind of, you know, took over the game. He don't really get enough recognition, man, because he's not outspoken really much. But he is a free agent coming up, man, so you never know where he might end up landing. But usually foreign players like that, they usually don't go to other teams, man. They usually stay where they are, man. Like Dirk and all those guys, they usually, if they brought a championship to their city, they usually don't leave, you know. But you know how the story goes, man. You never know what can happen. I mean, heck, you can end up being traded. I can end up being traded. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really is safe. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's safe, really. Two things, you know. Man, I ain't gonna even go into it. But let's jump into a commercial real quick, man. Know what I'm talking about?
Jordan?
Your shell swoops. Forward. Houston Comets.
How are you doing?
You got some pretty good moves. You're fast anyway.
Thanks. I guess.
You know, your jump shot could be better. You're releasing the ball too soon. It's fixable. With work.
Girl, where is your mama?
Mama can't help you a jump shot. Does he have a jumper?
He's only 11 months old.
I had a jump shot at his age. I had a good jumper.
I'm taking trips every week to get my bucks bigger. Fell off 100 times, but it come with it. If the price makes sense, y'all come get it. If the price makes sense, nigga, I'm on the way. Just in a spot talking about it, nigga, me and Jay. Asking Willa for the work, nigga, I really seen it. Show you my love with my actions, nigga, really mean it. Nigga, look how this shit going. 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 Younger boss, nigga, put the city on my shoulders. Finna buy me some land so I'm rich when I'm older. All this shit cheap and everything went over. Once I drop this new shit, swear to God, shit over. Ballin' our court, nigga, check up. Time here now, told you we was next up. Sad Deli, nigga, celebrating Mexico. Young trap nigga, but that boy got flow. Fuck crashing out, brother, stay free and live. Younger boss, show you how to work a vacuum seal. Younger boss, nigga, show you how to move right. Younger boss, pay attention, young nigga, game tight. Throw the butter in the air, watch it all come down. Used to re-up with a zip, now I buy 200 pounds. I ain't changing up, nigga, I'ma stay the same. Young nigga, $22 million worth of game. Look how this shit going. 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 I'm the blueprint, pay attention. On the stage with glow, long way from the kitchen. Shit been going so fast, living life ain't even hit me. Need dope, know I'm here, it ain't nothing, just hit me. Tryna own me some land, own me some restaurants. Once I build my credit up, hit the bank and get a front. Credit good in the streets, credit good with the bank. Feel like I can conquer the whole world when I see this bank. Nigga, I'm coming to get it. If we can buy for the low and sell it high, you know I'm with it. Everybody like the part, I'm tryna own the club too. Come back and buy the block, million plus, selling photos. Look how this shit going. Look how this shit going. Look how this shit going.
Yeah, man, look how it's going, boy. Check them out, man. New Dallas, man. Zillionaire dough up in this mother. Look how it's going. Yeah, man, we ain't done with the power forward position. Now we're going to jump into how to play the position, what to look for in the player's skills, you know what I'm saying? And we just going to jump into it.
My top 10 players at each and every position. I've done my point guards list and I've done my shooting guards list. I've made a playlist, the cards on the screen right about now if you missed those videos. And obviously, as you can see from the title and thumbnail, we're going to be ranking the top 10 small forwards.
Look how much we have grown together. Happy to be back, and we are glad to be back.
Make sure to keep hitting that like button, and don't forget to tell your friends and teammates about Basketball U if they are looking for a place for basketball skills and knowledge about the game. Today, we bring you a position where some of the strongest, most hard-nosed, and some would say bullies out of all the positions we are going to talk to you about during our position breakdown series. Even though this position is known for its physicality, it is also a position you have to have skill and athleticism in, but in a different way than we have explained. The power forward, also known as the 4, is an integral part of any basketball team that intends to play with toughness and physicality. Traditionally, the power forward is a player who is bigger and stronger than the point guard, shooting guard, and small forward, but a bit shorter and quicker than the center. The power forward is primarily considered an interior player that scores in the post, but depending on the offense, they will most likely also have to be comfortable on the perimeter in order to be considered dominant. 5 traits of a dominant power forward. A great power forward will be asked to do a number of things on both ends of the court, but many of those are things that not all players can do. So what characteristics can make a dominant power forward in particular? Number 1, toughness. Toughness is a skill that is overlooked by many when looking for the guy that is going to lead your team with their play and for some vocally. Toughness can be improved based on the environment of practices and the team moral. At first starts with not being afraid to communicate with your teammates. Being in the 4-man position, you tend to be in places on the floor where you can see plays start to develop when on the defensive end, and you can call out things for your team to move properly or for your guard to move out of the way of a screen. Another skill that is associated with toughness is diving for loose balls. Getting on the floor shows your team and everyone in the gym or arena that you will do whatever it takes just for a possession. That type of play speaks volumes to everyone. Number 2, versatility. While it is true that a great power forward is most likely a big, strong player who physically imposes his will, he will not be a truly dominant player if he or she is just a one-dimensional bully. The best power forwards are the players who can provide the strength and toughness mentioned above with the skill to step out and be serviceable on the perimeter as well. Especially if the power forward is playing within a 4-out, 1-in offense, the center may be the player who primarily occupies the block. That means that the power forward must be able to handle the ball on the perimeter if necessary, and more importantly, to step out and knock down a mid-range shot or 3-pointer. Versatility should especially be stressed at the youth levels where players are not done growing or developing. The player who meets the physical traits of a power forward for an elementary school team could become the point guard or the center in the future. Number 3, strength. While a player has to have some natural size to be qualified as a power forward, he must combine that size with strength in order to be considered dominant. A dominant power forward is probably the strongest player on the team and also has to be the most willing to use that strength. A player who is asked to be one of the team's best rebounders and defenders while being matched up against the opponent's biggest players will have to be strong in order to be successful. Number 4, size. It is important for players to be comfortable in multiple spots on the court. Size does still matter. The ideal power forward is big enough to create shots for themselves in the post and also to defend the other team's biggest players. Number 5, screen to create opportunities for teammates. Unless the power forward happens to be the best player on the team, they're probably not expected to be the primary scorer. As a big, strong, tough player, you have to depend on the power forward to set physical screens that create opportunities for teammates to score. Of course, all players are expected to screen, but it needs to be a strength in order for a player to be considered a dominant abilities. The power forward is expected to be a big, strong, tough player who can also play with skill. But how should they use those traits exactly? Even though the power forward is a physical player who is not afraid of contact, this does not mean that he is simply a big body or an enforcer. Here are a few specific responsibilities of a power forward. A,
rebound on both ends of the court. The power forward's most important responsibility is being a rebounder. The skill of rebounding is so much more than just jumping up to grab a ball. The skill of rebounding, explained by Hall of Famer and basketball icon, probably more for his antics off the court, is Dennis Rodman.
I just practice a lot about the angle of the ball and the trajectory of it. You got a Larry Bird, it's going to spin. You got a Magic, and maybe spin. When Michael shoot over here, I position myself right there. Now I hit the rim, it's boom, click and go back this way. Boom, here, click and go that way. Boom, that way. Click here and go back this way.
Okay, if you didn't understand that, to put it in more simpler terms, the trajectory of the ball will allow you to understand where the ball may end up when coming off the rim. A skill of anticipation is something you have to have in this position, because sometimes it will help you against a taller, more skilled player if you can get a quicker or smaller advantage by getting to a spot before they do. Understanding that usually the team who gets the most rebounds will most of the time end up getting the most shots, and that the team who gets the most shots will usually score the most points. Therefore, as one of the strongest and toughest players on the team, the power forward has to be a great rebounder on both ends of the court. When a teammate takes a shot on the offensive end, the power forward must fight for an offensive rebound to create second chance points as well. The power forward will most likely be the team's leading rebounder, or second if the team has a great rebounding center as well. B. Defend the biggest, strongest opponents. As one of the biggest and toughest players on the team, it's the power forward's responsibility to defend the biggest and toughest players on the other team. Of course, this is not always an easy task. This is where size, toughness, and strength become absolutely necessary. A player who lacks even one of these traits can find themselves getting scored against in the low post or getting beat for offensive rebounds. Depending on the situation and the personnel for both teams, it's also impossible that the power forward will have to guard players who are slightly smaller and quicker, and also players who are slightly bigger and stronger. C. Extend the defense as a capable shooter. The difference between a power forward who is just a strong physical brute and a truly dominant power forward is oftentimes the ability to contribute from the perimeter. Depending on the age and skill level, power forwards who are able to only play bully ball may sometimes be very difficult to stop. But as both the age and skill level go up, a power forward will have to be capable of more in order to dominate. A team-oriented offense with versatile players is much harder to stop than one that is centered around just one or two players. A power forward who can step out and make an open mid-range or three-point jump shot gives your team a much better chance to play offense. With that philosophy, a strength in order for a player to be considered a dominant power forward. D. Make hustle plays and bring energy. As one of the toughest on the team, it's the power forward's responsibility to make hustle plays. The hustle plays may consist of diving on the floor for loose balls, taking charges, and boxing out. A great power forward who is the strongest player on the team is responsible for initiating that energy. Just like your team's selflessness and flow will often begin with your point guard, your team's toughness and energy will often begin with your power forward. E. Game film. Just like every other position, it is vital to watch yourself, especially when in this position, because you will have to understand your strengths and weaknesses, as well as finding ways to exploit your opponent's techniques and schemes to put them at a disadvantage. Game film allows you to see how you play from a perspective you're not used to seeing it from, the same perspective everyone else sees in television. It can be viewed in real time, slow motion, or fast forward to see how things play out in different angles. Once you study enough, you can be a dominant power forward. In conclusion, dominance, physical and mental toughness, and endurance will help you succeed in this position. For those who will end up playing this position, understand that you don't need a play called for you, and you don't have to have all the skills required in the positions explained in past episodes. Hard work and being dedicated to getting boards and finishing those points you earned will usually turn into a nice point total based on your work ethic. Your energy is the driving force to the team's success as you create multiple opportunities with your skill of creating more shots for your teammates. You're the glue that holds your team together. With size, strength, and toughness, a power forward can be a serious key to your team. Traits that every coach wants all of their players to have. However, a power forward can be dominant if he couples these traits with great physical conditioning, the willingness to make selfless plays, and the versatility to both defend and rebound and also score from multiple spots on the court. The player who provides that rare combination to become a dominant power forward can bring that same toughness and energy out of their teammates, and ultimately can be the driving force behind your team's overall identity.
Yeah, man, and there you have it. And, what to look for in those positions, man, in the power forward position, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, we just got through with the little first half, you know what I'm saying? First half, you know what I'm saying? So let's jump into a commercial real quick, man. That we just got through going through the first half. Now we're about to jump into the second half of what's going on.
He is rapidly evolving into my favorite player. He is something special. He brings out the dog in the rest of their team. Right now, when I see Anthony Edwards, I see MJ. Michael Jordan. The best player in this series, with LeBron and Luka on the basketball court, is a 23-year-old with a $200+ million contract, playing like he broke, playing like he said, I want this, I'm taking him out. Last statement, I've said it before and I'll say it again. He is a shark in blood-infested waters. Yeah, I think the series is going to go back to Minnesota. But make no mistake, he's coming to take them out in L.A. Ant-Man is coming. I'm sorry, he's arrived.
What are you looking forward to most of this upcoming season?
Definitely going back to the playoffs and going further in the playoffs to go versus the Warriors. I want to play the Warriors. I want to get to the Warriors. Wherever they at, I want to get to them.
Got you. Why the Warriors so much?
I mean, because Draymond talks so much trash. That's pretty much the only reason.
So
McDaniel's going out of here, and then all of a sudden Gobert comes in, and Draymond's like, no.
Yeah, it's
chill out.
And then Draymond, he headlocked Gobert there, so.
Drop on a flexing nigga. He from Tennessee. I had a thought. She be with the shit. She told me Wade B. I say for sure. Baby, let me know. You already know.
Yeah, we gonna start making them jigging songs for us, bro. Y'all ain't doing no dancing songs no more. All y'all talk about is killing.
Why the fuck would I? That's all. This is what. That's what they want. G.
Man. Fuck all that. There's some young niggas up there dancing right now, getting their boogie on like a motherfucker, bro. At the park?
At the park?
Yeah.
Come on.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's get to the business. I snapped, she disappeared, and now he trying to do some avenging. I really hate when these real niggas get real iffy about bitches, cause that's when niggas get vicious. I'm Lilo in stitches, nigga, him. Yeah, baby, I'm him. I'm not he, she, they are them. Geeked up off a cloud, then I got a little slim. I need to get up in the gym. By the summer, I'ma come trim. Bad hoes see me in the elevator, almost gave up a limb. Really giving y'all soul food, I tend to think I'm limb. Y'all keep that foreign shit, I like mine like Tim's.